Conscious collaboration brings together entrepreneurs, change makers, and thought leaders. We aim to highlight the people that embody the idea of aligned mind, body, and business. Each week, we share, discuss, and learn from the various experiences and ideas of our guest experts. Through our discovery, we find a path to an aligned mind, body, and business.
What is up, y'all? This is Emily.
And I'm Lisa, and we are the Conscious Collaboration. Hey, Emily.
Hey!
I'm so excited to finally introduce you to Adrienne Falcone Godsell. And she's one of my friends that I met in a business cohort. We're talking about it being our 1-year anniversary, our friendiversary. And she's joining us today as our collaborator in this discussion. She is known as the Food Whisperer. And she is a local Tampa Bay expert in food, but I dare to say she is international now with her show that she does. And she's a culinary educator, a holistic chef. I am a big follower of your Instagram, Adrienne, and hearing about all of your chefing and investigations into all the things that I want to try. And you just make it look really so very easy. Her background's in nutrition, and she takes a real intuitive approach to food, which is what I like, food as medicine. The Food Whisperer, Adrienne, that's like a perfect name. It makes me think of, it has like Native American or Earth element vibes to it. I just love it. So welcome.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Emily, for having me today. I really appreciate it. You guys are amazing.
We're so happy to have you here. The pre-chat's been fun in itself. Yeah. So tell me how did you come to the name, the Food Whisperer? Is it of those roots of medicine or sacred, the sacredness of food?
It came, 10,
in a whisper?
15, whisper. Yeah, that's just it. I've never been able to whisper. I've always been the child that was too loud and made too much noise and was constantly being told, lower your voice. Shh.
I don't believe it.
And yes, I'm the food whisperer. So it started out as the food doctor.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Back when I was in health food stores and in health food store cafes, and people be coming in, oh, my blood pressure's gone down, just changing my weekday meals to having your meals at lunch and or breakfast. And, oh, my blood sugar's down. Oh, I dropped those last 10 pounds. They're like, you're the food doctor. And I'm like, ooh, I like that. I'm the food doctor. And then when I fell away from, got into the personal chefing part of things. There's a practitioner, I can't remember, that I was working with, and we were talking about my book that I was creating, The Real Language of Food, Constructive Recipes for a Healthier You, and branding, and they were like, well, you're the food whisperer. Ooh. And I was like, ooh, I like that. Oh, because I was going to buy your favorite foodie.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And they were like, you're the food whisperer because that's the winner. You get people's bodies and food communicating. You do more than you're not just a favorite foodie here. And that's what it's been ever since.
Yeah, I love that. Because it is a dance and a constant communication between your body and the foods, and really connecting with the fact that, hey, my body, every tissue in my body is actually made up of, these food inputs. So maybe it's a good idea to start putting a little more love and intention into, what's going in. With that, I'm curious, is there a health story, within your story that inspired you to start utilizing food as medicine, or were you always sort of looking at it through that lens?
That's a great question, Emily, because there are multiple pivots. So I was the fat Sicilian kid. My sister and I were good, healthy, fat Sicilians. And I was Porky and my sister was Moo Moo and I was Sister Mary Elephant. And wow. Oh yeah. Because I mean, back in the '70s. So growing a child, I was born in 1968. So growing up in the '70s, what we see as normal, healthy today was obese.
Was chunky, yeah.
Was obese, and so, my mom was like, it's baby fat. It's going to be coming off once you hit puberty. Same thing happened to me, kind of thing. But at the same time, you're having all this going on. And yeah, once puberty hit, but it was also bike riding every day in high school, after school with my best friend that lived down the street that I had made, roller skating Friday and Saturday nights. The Jane Fonda workout had come out. And I'm like, oh, I want to do this too. I want to wear leg warmers. That means I got to exercise, kind of thing. Not putting two and two together. And I dropped it all. And then my junior year of high school, towards the summer, towards the end of the year, singing in chorus, standing up in the back rows, passed out, like on top of everybody. And so immediately, parents got the doctor's appointment. Doctor ordered a 4-hour glucose tolerance test, found out I was hypoglycemic. Mm-hmm. And the doctor said, okay. And I'm like, I don't know what hypoglycemic is. He's like, well, so your body's meant to be heavier than what it is. And I'm like, absolutely not. I refuse to revisit that ever again. He said, well, you need to start eating 5 to 6 small meals a day to keep your blood sugar level stable. High protein, complex carbs, sugar is poison, or your pancreas can burn out and you'll become insulin diabetic. And I'm like, don't know where my pancreas is. No, I don't want to become insulin diabetic or insulin dependent. So, okay. And so not only did your sugar highs and lows go away, it also, I maintained my weight. I had more energy and I was less moody, as much as a moody teenager could be. Mm-hmm. So then we fast forward to when I was in culinary school, and it was after culinary school. I was working at the Don Cesar up in the Maritana Grill, and we had this one dish that had foie gras on it. And then, of course, we'd have to sample it. And we would just like throw some on the grill. And if you've ever had like grilled foie gras, heaven.
I don't think I've ever had it. No.
So
in any form.
Yeah, it's one of the it's goose liver, and it's like, oh, I don't know that I really want that. But if you have it prepared properly in small doses, it's this amazing thing. But I started having this burning in the pit of my stomach. First, we thought it was an ulcer, but when we did the scan, found out that I had gallstones. Mm-hmm. And a single parent at the time, and I'm like. And they're like, okay, well, we can just schedule surgery to remove your gallbladder. Well, I didn't have insurance. And I'm like, okay, so what causes gallstones? You got to stay away from fried foods. You got to stay away from alcohol. You stay away from chocolate. Those are like the things that are antagonistic towards it. And then that's when I fell into natural foods. And my assistant, Judy Veal, was like, oh, well, you can just do a gallbladder flush. I'm like, a gallbladder flush? She said, yeah, you just do apple juice and castor oil, and you just put the castor oil pack on, and they'll pass naturally. And I'm like, that sounds really spooky. I don't know what happens if it doesn't work. And she said, there's this other supplement at the time that was called Stone Free. So I went through 2 bottles of that supplement, and the gallstones were gone. Mm-hmm. Little did I know, gallstones are genetic. Mm-hmm. My grandmother had them on my father's side. My sister has them also. They're also hormonal. So like when you're pregnant during menopause, that's when women get them. And there's also, and it's diet related as well. So, and you don't want to have your gallbladder removed because that's what produces the bile salts to break down everything.
And it doesn't really solve the problem.
And it doesn't solve the problem. Exactly. I am not a dietitian. I am not a medical practitioner, but no, it does not solve the problem because then you have nothing to break down the fats. Yeah. So then what? Right. Yeah. And if they don't tie off everything, then you have acid just dripping onto your organs, which happens a lot also. Yeah. Yeah. So those were like my 2 brushes, and falling into natural foods at that time. That's what put me there when I first learned about food allergies. and wanting it to just meet the bottom line as far as, being the cafe manager in a health food store in St. Pete. And I was just like, okay, let's do this. And then when I had parents coming in wanting like allergen-free cakes for their kids, I'm like, baby's got to eat. So it was just as time moved on, learning about like eat right for your blood type and getting older and just maintaining my health. It's a never ending journey, right? Even like with fitness and with energy, it's just this whole thing. We're always learning, we're always shifting. I think women have the advantage because of having menstrual cycles versus men, because our bodies are constantly changing. We have no choice other than to go with those changes that are happening. Instead of
I like that perspective, because I think a lot of what women's suffering comes from is resisting the cyclical changes, and just kind of going along with the typical advice that works really well for men, even though we are not just smaller versions of men, or however you want to look at that. So I like that perspective. It's more empowering.
We're not meant to fit in a box. Nobody's meant to fit in a box. There's not a one size fits all. And I don't even have to explain that to the two of you. We're all talking the same dialect here in different spaces.
Love that.
Yeah, there needs to be more conversations, and there seems to be more elevated conversations around these differences and the needs to explore, to seek more information, because I don't know, like just like you found out that gallstones were in your ancestry, it was probably just not spoken about, or it was like just brushed under the rug, like, oh, this is just old age happening, or and so it wasn't ever really looked into. So would it be something that you would know to even try to prevent?
Right. And the medical solution is take it out. As soon as it bothers you, take it out. And I've had that conversation.
But why would we need this organ? Yeah, we could just do without it.
Yeah. And I think the worst part is just that it gets so bad with people because it goes undiagnosed for so long that you have those infections that the gallbladder is just filled with pus and ready almost to burst, that they have to take it out because there is no other option at that point. It goes back to education. But like Lisa was saying, it goes back to education. It goes back to, if you know what's going on, and then if you want to be disciplined enough to know what your triggers are.
In your experience with the people that you've worked with, is there kind of a most common or biggest knowledge gap that you encounter?
I think it's more just being intentional. I have clients that, okay, I know this is how I need to be eating. And I don't know how to do it, so will you do it for me? Absolutely. Yeah. And then it goes to, well, can I have this? I really want that. Okay, thanks. And I'm here for as long as a client wants me. I really want to empower people to have me cook for them for 2-3 months, and then I can make them up a recipe book with the recipes they like and cut them loose that way. It just kind of depends.
Yeah,
that's why I chose not to become a dietitian, is because I don't have bedside manner.
Fair enough. Yeah. Do you find
the work that you guys do?
Do you find that a lot of the old guard kind of fads and myths are still like really sticking amongst people? Like, for example, the low fat fad of the 80s and 90s, or maybe it was more like 70s through 90s, where everything was supposed to be low fat, or eggs are bad for cholesterol, or things like that have sort of been hammered into us for decades and turn out to be patently false in a lot of cases.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. The clients that I have been like, have turned that corner.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll ask me certain things, and I'm like, okay, well, this is what I know. I can also ask other colleagues that are in integrated professions that I can get more answers for besides what you're looking for. I can only tell you my experience and what's worked for me, and just share those stories. Yeah, they're really, yeah. So my clients, people that I'm meeting, there's that, and like artificial sweeteners too,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Because those, and I know that I've watched
to navigate.
since 2020, monk fruit sweetener went from being pure monk fruit sweetener to now they're cutting it with erythritol and whatnot, so it's no longer 100% monk fruit sweetener anymore. And so I get into the conspiracy theory. Well, we can't have anything that stays healthy for somebody, can we?
Right. Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it has to be anything that seems to be trending holistically. Something is at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that your content, even I think you were doing segments called, were they March Food Minutes or
Marching Forward?
Marching Forward, yeah, where you did the insightful, just like quick little insights around things that you were curious about or you just learned. And that really comes across in who you are, is like, if you catch the trail of something, then you bring in an expert and you seek to learn more about it. So like you've got that, like a little bit of mad scientist to you too.
Yep.
Is there something that you're into right now that you're really just like, oh, I have to know more about this?
I keep playing back and forth with ferments.
Mm-hmm. Oh, love it. I'm super into that right now.
Yeah.
What are you fermenting? Tell us.
I got some kombucha that's going to be ready tomorrow.
Awesome.
And I've been doing the El Ruteri yogurt, coconut yogurt.
I just listened to a podcast about that from the guy who wrote Wheat Belly. His name is escaping me right now. Ruteri is like amazing for all kinds of things, especially for women.
Yeah. And that's why I started it. A friend of mine had sent me a link with, it's called Cultured Food Life. And so I ordered the El Ruteri from them and the inulin. So I have it all. And the first time I did it with grass-fed, grass-finished pasture milk. Mm-hmm. So I don't do well with animal fats that are too heavy. They don't work with my body. But I tried it and it worked probably for about a week. And then of course my body's like, okay, no more of that. So then I made it with coconut milk, and I used the starter from the dairy yogurt that I had, and it came out really nice, but my body didn't like that. So now I've been making it just with the El Ruteri itself. And all you do is you put the coconut milk, if you have an Instapot with a yogurt setting, throw it in there with the El Ruteri and the inulin, 36 hours, and it's ready.
Awesome. He suggested that you could make salsa with it as well, alternatively.
Interesting.
If you don't do well with yogurt. So that might be fun to experiment with. And call me when you do that. I want to taste it.
Okay. So, I mean, I know how to, so I have made salsa just naturally fermenting it. Like just mixing it up, throwing it in the corner and letting it ferment on its own. So I've done salsa, I've done sauerkraut, beets. I made one sauerkraut with parsley and cabbage, and it almost had like a peppery flavor to it. My husband did a chlorophyll one that had other greens in with it, and that came out really nice. Fermented lemonade, the tepache, the pineapple ferment. And then when Thanksgiving comes, I start doing my cranberry soda.
Awesome.
And ginger brew.
Some of these things I haven't even heard of. I will have to check that out.
Yeah. And they're all super simple. And use the ginger bug for the starter for the ginger brew, the lemonade, the cranberry, and the tepache. All you need is an organic pineapple, and you just cut the sides off and you chop that up. And you keep the middle, and you can chop the middle out, the core also. Sugar, water, throw it in a corner for a couple of days, and it starts bubbling.
Awesome. Do you make sourdough bread, or do you tend to stay away from grains in your philosophy?
I work on staying away from grains as much as possible. I do have sourdough starter. And I got one from our local bakery here, Gulf Coast Sourdough, because they do only wild yeasted. So there's no yeast added to it. And his now is over like 20, 25 years old. So it's like a nice starter. Yeah. So I have mine.
The real deal.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, so I'll do that. And I abuse my starter. I don't pay much attention to Bilbo until I want to use it, because you're supposed to feed it like every 2 weeks or something. I just keep it in the back of my corner of the fridge until I'm ready for it. And then I'm like, morning, let's stir you up and feed you. Let's make some dough now.
Now, do you get any pushback from clients? Is it difficult sometimes to get them to try the cultured foods?
I will let them know that I have it, and if they would like to have some, then I share it with them. But yeah, I don't. I just let them ask the questions, and I just cook what they want me to cook for them.
Love it.
I know it's really, really good content. And I like that as you're seeking, I think I saw you talking to someone who does a lot with microgreens, a lot of really good local resources to us in the area. But I know it's just a real international trend to seek out this type of wisdom and knowledge that's like, okay, I don't want to hear it from a commercial. I want to hear it from someone like yourself, who's literally the food whisperer, who's going to be honest from personal experience and from research that you've learned. Is there a trend that you're seeing that people are really just maybe are they reaching out to you for help specifically?
Gut health.
Gut health,
Yeah. In general, general digestive issues. They've come to kind of their end of their rope. Oh, I had this 78-year-old woman referred over to me, and she has diverticulosis. She has something going on with her pancreas. She has like 3 different things. And she's like, I know that I did this to myself, and I really want to start getting better at things. And I'm awful at cooking, and I'd really love for you to cook for me, but I don't know what to be doing. And I'm like, from what you're telling me, you have a lot more going on than I can do for you right now. I recommend you go see someone that knows more about nutrition first, and then come back to me, and I will happily cook for you, because every person's body is different. So whatever you're reading, I mean, to me, it's like, yeah, you need to do low residue foods, and bone broth is going to be healing, and protein and veggies, and don't want raw. But I can't tell you what's good for your body. Once you find out what's good for your body with your situation, I will happily cook for you. Mm. Yeah. Lots of digestive issues going on, and can we be surprised?
I know it's a big part of your work to try to simplify it for people too, so that they can ultimately replicate, what you're cooking for them. And I know it's super individual based upon the client, but have you come up with any sort of universal recommendations? Over your experience for ways to simplify healthy eating?
I do have my book, The Real Language of Food, Constructive Recipes for a Healthier You. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like, it's like the Candida protocol. So you're starting just with proteins and veggies, no acids. It's kind of like 3 steps that I give you all the recipes you need. So it's like cleansing your palate and seeing what works for your body. And then starting implementing foods back in. So yeah, I do have that book that's out there. There's over 70 recipes.
We'll put a link. Yeah, we'll put a link for that.
Yeah, so it's really the best way. I mean, everybody hates an elimination protocol, but hey, if you got that much going on, you don't know what's working. Yeah, you got to start someplace, but you still have to eat and enjoy what you're having instead of just having like chicken and broccoli and rice, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. I mean, there's a lot you can do with those things, but I mean, what a way to, not diversify the gut biome.
Yeah.
Just by eating the same 3 things over and over again.
Yeah. I guess everybody's got to start somewhere. And if they're 78 and just completely overwhelmed by health issues, it's like, where do you start? Then you're pointing them towards the basics that you have in your cleansing the palate and stripping it all away and then introducing it back in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's such good advice. Before we let you go, I'm going to do a quick I Ching reading and tune into what our listeners may be experiencing right now in their energy, and then maybe we can wrap it up with some insights for them. I'm going to see what is the energy around those listening to us right now. I Ching. And it's the energy of humility. That's hexagram 15. That looks like the rose in the mountain. The bloom in all the rocks.
There's a Tupac poem called The Rose That Grew from Concrete.
Ooh, I like that. Perseverance. And then in the guidance that we can add, the unique guidance we can have is in the energy of dispersing, which is 59. I don't know if you can see the energy on that card, the artwork depicting that. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about it, Adrienne, and we're going to have a little discussion.
Okay.
So humility, the story around that, it's the story of earth above and mountain below. And the artist depicted like a rosebud in a hardened rock mountain. And there are change lines quite a bit. So humility is rewarded in human affairs. Making a conscious effort to develop a bit of self-effacing humor is really especially helpful in generating that strength. When mistakes are made and judgment blows in as sudden as north wind, there is a tendency to assign blame in all directions. Those who lack humility immediately raise their shields, thereby obscuring the truth from their own eyes.
That reminded me of the Andre Agassi conversation we were having.
Yeah.
Use the word shields in there.
It keeps coming back. All right, so just give a little
to that. There's something to that.
Let's put a pin in that, guys. But there is there is an underlying story here.
Yeah.
So we always say that if we hear things at least 3 times, there's some significance to it in shamanic studies. So that means like 3 animals or 3 numbers, and so 3 times we're talking about shields. All right, guys. So we're going to come back to that at some point. The weak take offense and shrink away in doubt and self-pity, but the sincere and humble see the situation as a challenge to be met head-on. First, by examining themselves inwardly to identify their role in creating their current situation, and then by having the courage to act forcefully, but fairly, to correct the mistakes and clear the air. Humility is a true mark of nobility and always bodes good fortune. So that
does sort of sound like the acknowledgement of, hey, I did this to myself kind of thing. Yeah. But now that I know, I can take action to make the changes.
Yep. It looks like based on this reading too, just in like the headspace in tough situations, make sure objectivity and clarity of purpose support your position. So there might be some like swift action that's being taken place. It may be like a doctor's, giving you some caution or telling you like, hey, you need to stop doing this. Or you may be seeing indications in yourself and be like, I need help with fill in the blank. And then being able to have that humility and accountability is really just the lesson in all of this. And I think we've already started talking about that, as Emily said. So, and then as we get into interpersonal, so there's a lot of people, and this is very sad, people who are too impressed by their own fame, beauty, and brilliance. Success for such people is usually short-lived because in order to sustain such positive results, some degree of humanity is needed for the continued support. One of the noblest achievements is that of a person who, despite great success, retains humility, and good fortune will stick with them over time. So, and I think that goes back to our earlier conversation too.
It does. It's the Andre Agassi versus Brooke Shields effect.
There it is.
Which one do you want to be?
Yeah, so this humility, if you have it as a gift to everybody, is something that's felt rewarding to yourself and to those around you. And then the unique insights that we can offer to those listening to keep in mind, and perhaps some guidance that Adrienne we can share is that nothing survives forever, not even the rocks or the most rigid of structures, as we talk about the energy of diversity. Likewise, all of our obstacles will dissolve in time too. Before the heart, the first thing to dissolve is any mental rigidity that may be feeding a sense of separation from others. Try to work closely with your friends and compatriots, concentrating on common activities that emanate from your integrity and goodwill. Interesting. So it says if you have lingering business or partnerships that are inactive or not working, this reading suggests that you consider dissolving them. This makes me think about the rigidity in wanting to cling really hard to things like Emily, we're talking about all the things that we grew up thinking about food and nutrition and everything that was instilled in us, the food pyramid.
And the ideas, I've been talking about this a lot too, the ideas that we often have of comfort food, and how likely through some type of scenario, love was demonstrated with like sugar, basically, and we keep these associations throughout our life, and even when we find ourselves in these situations where we want to reach out for these comfort foods, the baked goods or the greasy pizza or whatever it is, how ironic it is that these comfort foods are actually making us incredibly uncomfortable overall, causing insulin resistance and gut issues and all manner of other things. So kind of coming to that, you said it said something about changing relationships. So, relationships with food, I think is a huge piece of that, and reframing what we look at. And that's not to say that you can't and shouldn't enjoy and love your food. I totally believe in that, but reframing what kinds of foods we actually look at as food and comfort foods.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's also a part of demonizing food.
Yeah.
We demonize food, or I deserve this. It's been a long day, or it's been a hard day. I deserve X, Y, or Z, and all of those food relationships. And I'm an adult, so that means I can have 3 martinis.
Ice cream for breakfast, whatever.
I can pick martinis because that was always my drink of choice.
That's your go-to.
It was. Yeah. And that's just something that I've been working on right now, is just having healthier relationships with what I'm ingesting, whether it's food or beverages, and not worrying about what other people think. Right? Because even when we commune together, there's always a beverage or a food that kind of goes with whatever celebration or event or gathering that we're having. And then if you're not having that said food or beverage, why not?
Well, what's going on with you? Why aren't you?
And people
come
get
on, just one won't hurt
you.
Yeah.
They get very uncomfortable about that, and it's like, my choice. Please enjoy. It's just something that I'm not doing at this point right now.
Yeah.
That makes me think, last weekend I went to this community dining experience. It was at 15th Street Farm. Have you been there?
Oh, yeah. It's beautiful over there.
So
Chef
pretty.
Emmanuel is amazing.
He is like the most connected guy in St. Petersburg. It was a really amazing experience. And he was talking about just the experience and commune of sharing food. And so everything there, Emily, is like a family style experience when it's chef.
Brian actually brought it up the other day. We were hanging out and he mentioned, multi-course African culinary experience. Yeah. And I was like, I'm pretty sure that's what Lisa was
he there?
Going to. No, but they do we're going to potentially talk with them about doing some yoga
Oh, good. Yeah.
experiences
Yeah.
with that farm to table situation. So
yeah, there was
stay
that
tuned.
event, yeah, that community event vibe of it all. But as we're talking about the energy of dispersing, there's that feeling of that pulling away of things that were very much ingrained as a part of community and family. And just like in that you know, commune, or as he described it, of sharing the meals together and sitting with your family table. So I was at one table, my partner was at another table, but right next to me.
Oh, interesting.
Each
Yeah.
table had its own little vibe of sharing. And we did not have wine there. It was a deeply saturated hibiscus tea that was diluted with dandelion water, I think. So
It's really good for your liver and cholesterol.
yeah, everything was very
Probably be good for gallbladder issues.
Yeah, nutritious and of the earth and everything. And so there was that little bit of like, we were a little bit missing wine because Kevin makes his own wine and ferments and all of that. So we do like that experience, but we didn't really entirely miss it. There were some people that brought their own. But anyway, just that, the exploration of like, talking to people about their feelings of food and seeing what they were exploring in this West African serving of dishes. So there was goat meat and, all these things that, a lot of us had never had before, and having those discussions around it. So there was like, the energy of dispersing, but yet community at the same time.
Well, and that's one of the biggest health disparities of the modern day is, and Sean Stevenson talks about this a lot, this idea of eating in community, or at least eating with family. We used to eat with our families a lot more. I at least was fortunate enough to where like it was a big deal in my family to have dinner together, no TV on and all that. But how we've found ourselves in this place where oftentimes we're eating in a rush, we're eating in some kind of stressed out state, which automatically causes you to metabolize the food, same meal, which causes you to metabolize the food differently because of the hormones that are happening in that state of stress, versus if you're in community or with family, that is oxytocin promoting. And so oxytocin is the opposite. That's the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest nervous system, so you could have that same meal, a whole feast, and your body will metabolize it more favorably just for having it in community like that.
Cool. Yeah, really. Any thoughts coming to mind as we talk about really just our listeners coming to us in this energy of humility and what they may be experiencing in the coming weeks as they explore this dispersing energy? I would
relax and enjoy your food.
Yeah. Yes. Whisper
don't
to your food.
Don't make it a chore. Yeah, don't make it a chore to eat either. Sometimes we know that we're supposed to be eating, or we have to be eating. And like the other night, I was just full, and I'm like, yeah, but I really need to get more protein in. I didn't get enough protein and fiber in, and I'm like, you know what? I don't want to eat. It's after 6:00. I do better when I don't eat after 6. I'm definitely not after 7. And yeah, so I'm good with what I had today, and tomorrow's another day.
Absolutely.
I like that. It feels like it's not very strict with a lot of, like, you're not punishing yourself because you didn't meet your protein goals. You're just, okay, tomorrow's a new day, and I'm feeling into where I am right now and honoring that. So that is a real intuitive gift, to be able to be in tune with yourself in that way, and speak, as it were, to the food and the nutrients.
And don't beat yourself up if you carb load.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
AKA have sweets when you said that you're not going to.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Just don't make a habit of it, and don't be self-destructive.
Mm-hmm. Right. And that kind of goes back to like, what state are you in when you're eating something? if you're going to choose to eat the more indulgent thing, well, enjoy it, own it. Don't sit there and eat it in guilt and shame. And, same kind of concept. If you eat something in a stressed out state, it's going to have worse consequences at the end of the day than if you were to just make the choice and enjoy it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Not every day.
Not every day, right? Yeah.
Not every day.
But how, what, when, why, where we eat makes all the difference in the world.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Very wise. I love that so much.
And with whom, maybe we could add.
And with whom, yes. Yeah, I think too. And also really just find your connections in a busy world to take those moments. I know, Adrienne, it takes us a long time to get on each other's calendar to take the time and to sit together, but boy, is it necessary, right?
It is.
It's just, it does something to our nervous system and lets us really kind of like reflect on a lot of things, and having that community is so nourishing.
It is. It's important. You need to have those that you resonate with, and you need to have those that are going to lift you up. Mm-hmm. And then you need to know when to cut your ties.
Right. Yeah. That's the other side of dispersing as well, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes we drift over into another table, as it were. Adrienne, where can our listeners find you? Besides wandering around here in Tampa Bay in your gorgeous chefing, your red chef coat.
So social media, YouTube is the Food Whisperer 813, and that's where you can find my cooking show, Healthy Meals in Minutes. You can also find that on the streaming app, Red House TV, RHS TV. Instagram is I Am the Food Whisperer. TikTok, I Am the Food Whisperer. Facebook, the Food Whisperer. Yeah, and LinkedIn, it's Adrienne Falcone Godsell. So yeah, all over.
Well, everybody, I know there's going to be some questions and some chatter and some conversation, and I know that you're a wealth of information for anyone that can find the time to spend with you, and maybe even bring you into their own kitchen.
And I can do virtual cooking lessons if you wanted to do a virtual cooking lesson. I do those also. So yeah. Oh, my website's thefoodwhisperer.info.
Would you care to drop a little teaser regarding the red chef coat, or do you want to leave that packed up for now?
Tease.
Let's do it.
So I have a GoFundMe started to have a woman's chefwear line, because there is not such a thing out there. I mean, you see a few, but I really want to make a woman feel like a woman in their profession. And I know that it can happen, and I think there's a way to do it. And the designer that I am working with, actually, their uncle owns a restaurant, so the designer knows the functionality of what's needed. I mean, they do haute couture, and they have agreed that they would like to work with me to design this. So
chef couture.
Chef couture, it is. From the kitchen to the runway, it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
I could see it.
It's happening. It's happening.
So
happening.
We're going to
all my other 90s kids, don't tell mom the babysitter's dead is finally coming to reality.
Yeah, we'll end up with like a professional line and with a fashion line.
Love it.
Yes. Yeah. We'll manifest that fashion show, and it would be so wonderful to have in the front, one of the front chairs there, prominent. Yes. We would like to extend that invitation to Brooke Shields. Just putting it out there.
Yes.
Brooke.
Yes.
Brooke, you're listening. We'd love
Brooke
to have
is listening.
You could even wear one of the coats. Or you could have your daughters. I think one of her daughters is interested in modeling. So.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, stay tuned, everybody. And if you have any questions, insights, ideas to share with Adrienne or with us, you can join us inside of the Conscious Collaboration Collective, our close and private Facebook group. And we look forward to hearing from you there, all of our change makers, thought leaders, entrepreneurs. Thank you so much for listening to us and for telling us what you would like to hear more of, and for being open to joining us here on our show. All right, ladies, it's been good. I almost feel like I have some sort of therapy session in these, and
Totally.
renewed focus. So having you here was a great honor, Adrienne.
Well, thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Emily, for inviting me to be part of this.
Thank you.
It's been incredible.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
You're very
Love to
powerful
have you.
women. Thank you so much.
Aw.
Oh my gosh, the power of three, though, right?
Agree.
Well, we look forward to having you on again, and we look forward to
you.
seeing you and your line on the runway.
It's happening.
It's happening. It's already happening. All right, guys. We'll talk to you in 5.
All right.
Talk to you in 5. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank y'all so much for listening to our podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends so they can join our circle of collaboration on this journey. You can find us on Instagram at Conscious Collaboration Podcast, on Spotify, iTunes, and Audible, to name a few. Please join us next time for another deep dive into how you can live life in more alignment, mind, body, and business. Send us your questions and comments in our DMs, or email us at consciouscollaborationpodcast@gmail.com. See you in 5 minutes.